Majo John Madden by the harbor and the bay. This is the bay out here in Veracruz. I want to capture some ideas that were floating through my brain as I was sitting on the seawall where those folks were. The wind is too strong to make a recording, so I ducked in the shade of the, not the shade, but the shelter of the OXXO store here. I made a whole bunch of videos today about relationships and setting up housekeeping, and I am in an apartment for the first time in 3 years and actually got a bed delivered today. I'm only going to be here a couple more weeks because I'm heading out to Cozumel. The last 3 days, maybe 4 days, I've been working on a long catch-up for my friends back in El Diamante, a 400-person pueblo where I spent the whole summer of 23. And especially my dear friend Alia there, who's in the part I've already written in that catch-up, which I have to translate to Spanish, I said, "You are my most important friend in Mexico. And I admire so much the way you hung in when we had strong conflicts." And we did. We had strong conflicts about all kinds of fears she has about bad hombres out there. Don't go to Martinez, 60,000 person town, which I loved getting on the bus and going there. If you take money out of the Coppel store bank, there are people who will watch for that, follow you down the street and stab you and take your money. And it was so patently paranoia, I made a YouTube video short where I asked people to, in that bank lobby with all the working class people waiting to cash their monthly check, I said, "Help me find the hardened criminals here who are gonna kill me and steal my money." And it was quite funny. And she said, "Don't go to that big national holiday party in the neighboring 6,000 person town of Vega. It's very dangerous at that party." And I said, I'm really not worried about it. And I had a spectacular time at the street dance. And the next morning, as I was walking through very sleepy Vega early Sunday morning, I thought, she doesn't know, so much she doesn't know about me. She doesn't know that as a 21-year-old college grad at the 68 convention, the police riot in Chicago over the Vietnam War, I was out there in the park. I chose to leave my job that day and to walk out into Grant Park, where we got maced and tear gassed. And when the person next to me was struck down by a police billy club, I screamed, "Hit me, hit me." I've seen things that make Martinez and Vega and the back roads of El Diamante not seem dangerous. Now, I've been blindsided a couple of times, and I've been robbed a couple of times. And I said, you would have been horrified at me sleeping on the beach in Boca Del Rio 2 weeks ago. Well, I did get robbed. But I learned. I survived. I learned. It's all experiments. She won't be watching this because she only speaks Spanish, basically. Doesn't watch any of my English videos. Setting up housekeeping, having a bed in my apartment. I had been making plans that if I stayed in Veracruz long, I would take the 2-hour drive up north from here and go visit my friends in El Diamante, where I left in September. So this long checkup that I finally translated and sent to her last night. The part I left out that I've been writing today is how important she is to me and how bad I feel about not making the trip to see her. The part I'm not going to say is, it'd be awfully cool if you ran up here sometime in the next 2 weeks. I did say her daughter is coming home soon, or maybe is home now and likes to go on trips with her. I said, maybe your daughter will want to come to Cozumel. And I'm baiting the hook, because what do you do when you're too big for your britches? My mom used to say that to us when we get out of line. You're too big for your britches. I've gotten awfully big. Had a big spiritual experience 4 years ago, and I just keep getting bigger. I'm not afraid of things that other people are afraid of. And her husband is the guy who doesn't make things happen. I had to absolutely jump in his shit because his not doing what he said he was going to do really hurt their sister-in-law up there. I had promised her money, and he promised he would get it from the bank, and he didn't. I had to really do a full court press, and she saw all that. When his mechanic just bungled the installation of my new engine, very expensive, and he said I was gone to another city, and he said in a WhatsApp text message, well, we'll never know if the problem was really the way you drove the car. And they share their WhatsApp account. So she saw when I absolutely blasted him for that. Just let him have it. She saw that before I left El Diamante, there was a killer dog, a genuinely dangerous dog who was not afraid of man or dog and who was attacking our dogs. And I said, I'm going to kill that dog before I leave because our dogs will not be safe. I said, will you let me use your machete? Most families have a machete for clearing brush, but it's a hell of a good weapon. She was horrified. She was scared of that dog and really did not disapprove. She's a gentle Mexican, so the idea of killing a dog horrifies her, but she was genuinely afraid of the dog. I ended up killing that dog with a little fish filleting knife, and I had to get in really close to do it as he was trying to attack me. She knew that. And she's the one who, when I said 2 days later, I just ended